As a parent myself, and with all the families that we see in the office, we see so many kiddos struggling nowadays with things like anxiety, sleep issues, weak immune system, poor digestion, chronic inflammation, even behavior issues like tantrums and meltdowns, or the inability for a kiddo to really be able to self soothe and self regulate and calm themselves down. If you go on the CDC's website, they estimate that nowadays 40% of school age kiddos suffer from at least one chronic illness, some more than one. That includes things like behavior learning issues, things like ADHD, mental health, and then breathing. Things like asthma are the top three categories. So why is this? If you go to your traditional pediatrician's office, they might start to compartmentalize digestion, immune system, inflammation, sleep as all different areas. Mental health, another different area. However, the pattern that I've seen in my office since being a pediatric chiropractor since 2007 is this underlying fight-flight response, this chronic fight-flight response that becomes stuck on in the nervous system. Now, here's the thing. The fight-flight response isn't a bad thing. We all need it. Your kiddo needs it when they're playing outside. If they're running away from someone so they don't get tagged, they need that response. If they need to go, 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 they need to be in fight-flight. However, if they're stuck there, that's when these issues start to become a concern. I'm going to show you here in a moment signs that your child might be stuck in fight or flight. But really, what should be happening then is, yes, we need fight-flight, but in our modern day, we start to see kiddos with so many stresses, one after another. Even starting way back during conception. Maybe it was tough to conceive, or pregnancy was really stressful. Maybe labor and delivery was intense and there needed to be assistance or help to get baby safely into the world. Now we add maybe nursing was challenging, or there was colic or reflux, or a baby that didn't sleep well or didn't nap well. Maybe they started to suffer with immune issues and had to be on a lot of antibiotics, and now maybe sensory challenges get introduced into the mix. And the series that we see goes on and on, but the underlying piece of that is these stresses start to add up, and they, in a sense, start to stack up. So now that kiddo's nervous system, all they start to know is that flight or flight response. And what happens then are two things. Number one, if it's many stresses stacked on top of each other, that starts to wire in your kiddo's nervous system. Their brain gets used to responding with fight flight, so it does so much easier than it should. Number two is our nervous system not only has the fight flight response, but it also has a brake pedal response. That is what's known as the vagus nerve. The fancier term there is the parasympathetic response. It takes us out of fight or flight and calms us down, slows us down. The vagus nerve activates digestion. It helps with breathing. It helps to strengthen our immune system. It actually has the anti-inflammatory response to clear inflammation out of the body. The vagus nerve is important for socializing, for that mental and emotional health, because not only does it calm, but it helps us read social cues, people's facial expressions, their eyes, their mouth, and allows a kiddo to connect and bond with other people. So what happens is, if we're in chronic fight-flight mode, our vagus nerve has to be working overtime. And imagine with your car, if you're driving in city traffic all the time where it's start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, and you're always having to push the brake pedal, your brake pads and your braking system, it's going to wear out more quickly. So for our kiddos that we see in our office, a lot of times they've had this steady barrage of stresses, and they've had to do brake pedal, brake pedal, brake pedal, that it starts to wear out. And as a result, now when a stress comes at them, they don't have the ability to come back down and apply the brake to get out of stress mode. And as a result, they stay stuck in stress mode. So I'm going to go here to those signs that your kiddo might be stuck in fight or flight mode. Things we commonly see in our office is that heightened baseline anxiety, because fight or flight creates stress in the brain, and as a result, it's just always there. They're going to have a panic response more easily because they're already stressed even when something little comes at them. If you notice your kiddo has a lot of emotional meltdowns and outbursts, it's normal for toddlers, especially. They go through those moments. And what we see is that if your intuitive parent sense, like, that was way intense. It could have been a 5-minute meltdown, but it lasted 45 minutes. Often what we see is their nervous system is already on edge. That fight or flight is already built up. So when something tips them over the edge and they can't access the brake pedal, they stay in that outburst and that meltdown phase much longer than needed. Poor sleep is one of the most common things that we see. And the good news is when we start to activate the vagus nerve and the brake pedal, it's also one of the most common things that parents report getting quick results with, where they start to notice their kiddo in a much better sleep, not waking up and crawling in the bed with them at night. If your kiddo's in fight-flight mode, either one, they might not want to eat, because if you're in stress mode, your body doesn't have energy for digestion, so it doesn't want to put it in there. Or we all know, and myself included, about stress eating, right? Where you crave the sugars and the carbs and the processed foods because you need that quick spike of carbs and sugar to keep your body going, and you can eat lots and lots of those. Food sensitivities and allergies. Here, again, as I mentioned, the vagus nerve impacts the immune system. And if the body's in a chronic stress state, the easiest way to think about it is it starts to perceive other things as stressful. So whether it's environmental, whether it's dander or pollen or mold or foods, it starts to perceive things in the environment as stressful and overreact on the immune system side. The technical, if you want to dive deeper into this, there's a Th1 and a Th2 response. And when the body's in stress mode, those shift out of balance and the allergy side of things becomes more activated. If that stress is building up in the body, you might notice your kiddo getting a lot of headaches or tummy pains and tummy aches. And the little things that tip them over the edge become a lot more common than they should be. Maybe it's their sibling knows just what buttons to push to get on their nerves, and you notice it doesn't take very much. Again, one of the things we see parents comment so often on in our office when we start to activate the calm side of things is they're like, the other morning I thought he was going to have a tantrum and a meltdown, and I saw it start, but he came out of it much more quickly. If the nervous system's in fight or flight mode, symptoms like ADHD might show up. And I think my video here is covering this, but it says poor focus and concentration troubles, because fight flight is all about protecting us, putting us in survival mode. So we have to be checking, is the tiger over here? Is it over here? Oh, what's that sound? Is that danger? And it's going to distract and create our attention to be scattered. And then at the bottom here, it says frequent illnesses and decreased immunity. Again, stress chronically stuck on draws and weakens our immune system. And then the last one here, persistent fatigue or hyperactivity. Again, when you're in go, go, go mode all the time, it's sort of this challenge of you see a kiddo that's like revved up and stressed to the max, but almost they can, if they have been that way for a long time, start to be fatigued. And if we see teenagers, sometimes it moves into depression because their system can't keep up that hyperness forever, so it eventually starts to crash. What that can lead to then, some of these things we just touched on, but from a symptom standpoint, anxiety, mood issues, the cognitive and behavioral challenges, even the physical side of things, as I said, if that stress is building up in the body, and growth and development delays is what the last one says here, because if the nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, it's not going into growth and development mode. Fight or flight is the gas pedal, growth and development is the brake pedal. So if that resonates with you as a parent, you might be saying, I thought my kiddo was stuck in flight, and that's why we were doing things like yoga or essential oils or massage or deep breathing or all the things as a parent you might know help calm their nervous system. You have them eat healthy. You give them supplements like maybe magnesium to help calm them down. You put them under a weighted blanket to try to stimulate some calm into their brain. And if you've done all those things and you still see their system is elevated and still that heightened fight-flight responses in their body, that's where I would recommend reaching out to a pediatric chiropractor like our office, because that's what we specialize in, is finding where those areas are stuck on and providing adjustments to help activate the vagus nerve and clear out that chronic stress to allow their nervous system to go into brake pedal mode. So if that resonates with you, please reach out, shoot us a message, give us a call. We're here for you, and we're happy to help.